Hi, this is Paul. I'm coming back with TTM episode number 9. This isn't cards, but I'm trying to break up all my mail. As I mentioned in several other videos, there was a backlog from the hurricane, so I'm kind of opening up a little bit at a time, and I'm, making, videos as I go. So this is all like customs, whatever you want to call them. Okay, so let's get started. Uh, The first one is a 2-2 from Ron Hansen. He signed and inscribed this Baltimore Orioles logo photo with his 1960 Rookie of the Year inscription. The next one is he signed his Kansas City Royals logo photo. He played for them in 1972. I believe that was his final season. The next one is a 2-2 from Buck Showalter. Buck signed this picture of City Field, and he inscribed that he was the Mets manager from 2022 to 2023. Very nice of Buck to sign that and inscribe it. And then he signed another photo of inside Citi Field, and he inscribed it that the Mets won 101 games in 2022. They didn't go as far as they did this year, but it's still he won 101 games. I mean, it still counts for something. He did a good job. Okay. The next one is a 3-3 from Claude Osteen. He signed the Senators logo photo. He was with the Washington Senators earlier in his career. Then he signed his Houston Astros logo photo. And a quick story, the Dodgers, after the 1973 season, the Dodgers and the Astros made a trade. And the Astros traded a longtime terrific player, Detroit Cannon Jim Wynn, to the Dodgers, even up for Claude Osteen. Back then, a lot of people questioned why you would trade an everyday player for a player that plays once every fifth day. Well, the Astros had an abundance of outfielders, and they needed pitching. So, but about Detroit Cannon Jim Wynn, okay, if you ever watched Apollo 13, directed by Ron Howard, that movie was made nearly 30 years ago. There's a scene in which the families of the astronauts, this is before the explosion, where they do what they call live broadcast. And back then, the Apollo, that was like the fourth, that was supposed to be the fourth time, actually the third time that they would walk on the moon. Obviously, it never happened. So it was kind of wearing old for the public. So nobody really tuned in to the broadcast I did from space. I believe the news channels used to kind of cut in, but they didn't anymore. They would kind of show clips of it on the news or whatever. But there's a scene where the people, the controllers at Mission Control, are watching a Houston Astros game. Now, this is 1970, and it shows Jim Wynn doing a home run trot. So just trying to kind of tie that in. And then there was another NASA movie back in 1983, The Right Stuff, which is about the original 7 Mercury astronauts. And there was a Hall of Fame football player early in his career had a role in that movie. Anthony Munoz played Gonzalez. He was kind of like a the astronauts were kind of in like a hospital to have testing done. They would testing for everything, and Gonzalez was like the attendant, and it was played by Anthony Munoz, and he would kind of, escort the astronauts to the bathroom, and because they were kind of really, they were like incapacitated from all the tests. So Anthony Munoz, early in his career, did make a movie. So just thought I'd throw that out there. And then the third one is this White Sox logo photo. Claude Osteen, I believe the White Sox were his last team, but that was when the White Sox wore the red, which were kind of nice uniforms. Then the next one is a 2/2 from Kyle Farnsworth. He signed this Mets Citi Field logo photo. Kyle Farnsworth played briefly for the Mets. And then he signed the inside of Citi Field, this photo, Kyle Farnsworth. Then the next one is a 3/1 from Jay Hook. Jay Hook was an original Met, and he was with the Mets from 62 to 64. And Jay Hook got the first win by a Mets pitcher in their history. And that was, he inscribed the index card on April 23rd, 1962. He was the winning pitcher in the Mets' first win. And then he also inscribed an index card with his MLB debut with Cincinnati on September 3rd, 1957. And with what happened with the White Sox this year, the 62 Mets are no longer the most futile team in baseball. The next one is a 2/2 from David Clyde. He signed his Texas Rangers logo photo with his Major League debut of June 27th, 1973. David Clyde was fresh out of high school. The Rangers, I believe he was the number 1 pick in the 1973 draft. And the Rangers it was their second year in Arlington after moving from Washington. Shout out to Chase and Inc. And they didn't put him in the minor leagues, and it was probably a bad move. And so he went right from being in the and at that time there was the draft, so it wasn't that situation where they had to put him in the major leagues. They could have put him in the minor leagues. And I discussed it a couple videos ago that back before the draft, if a player got a substantial bonus, the major league team had to put him immediately in the major league roster. But this wasn't the case because the draft was already in place. So, but that was the Rangers chose to do that, and it didn't fare well. And then the second one, David Clyde ended up pitching for the Indians, and he inscribed the Indians logo photo. He pitched for them from 78 to 79. Then the next one is a 5/2 from Dave Baldwin. Dave Baldwin, I believe he doesn't live far from Chris Card's in Oregon, but he did a 5/2. He signed this White Sox logo photo, and he pitched for them in 1973. And then he signed this Milwaukee Brewers logo photo. He pitched for them in 1970. Dave Baldwin is an author, and he will, when he sends you the return, he will he sends these cards. This is where the other 3 come in, with all the teams he pitched for, and on the back. So this is his. Sorry, I moved the camera. This is the when he pitched for the Washington Senators, and in the back is a present day picture of him, and what he does now. Geneticist, engineer, writer, and artist. His memoir Snake Jazz is described at snakejazz.com. So, but he's a good TTMer. Then he signed when he pitched for the Brewers. Sent me, and then when he pitched for the White Sox. So that was very nice of Mr. Baldwin throwing in those 3 extras. Then the next one is how many is here? You got 3. This is a 4/4 from Marty Keough. He signed the Cleveland Indians logo photo. Then the Washington Senators logo photo. The Atlanta Braves logo photo. And then the Chicago Cubs logo photo. Marty Keough is and this is a shout out to Brandon Stebbins, I'm sorry. Marty Keough is the father of Matt Keough, who pitched for Brandon Stebbins' now Sacramento Athletics back in the early 80s. Matt Keough was part of that Billy Ball team in 1981. that lost to the Yankees in the National League, American League Championship Series, and that was the and then the Yankees went on to lose to the Dodgers. So the next one is a 3 of 3 from Bob Heiss. He signed the Met logo photo, the California Angels logo photo, and then the Kansas City Royals logo photo. Then the next is a 2 of 2 from Gary Bell. He signed the Cleveland Indians logo photo, and then the Seattle Pilots logo photo. Seattle Pilots, of course, played expansion team in 1969, played 1 year, went bankrupt, and then commissioner, well, wasn't commissioner, but he was the owner of Brewers. Bud Selig bought him out of bankruptcy court and moved him to Milwaukee. And the last one is a 2 of 2 from Randy Neiman. Randy Neiman was a member of the 86 Mets, but I wasn't going to have him inscribe 86 Mets world champions because it's a Citi Field photo. Of course, they played at Shea in 86. Shout out to TTM Mike. And then he signed his Citi Field. He was the Mets bullpen coach in 2009 and 2010. 2009 was the first year Citi Field was open. So other than that, that's it. I want everybody to like, comment, and subscribe. And thanks for watching, and we will talk to you later.